Audio on. Okay.
Hello everyone. So hope you enjoyed our last 2 days of Ignite the Spark sessions. And today we are here with our approach of no code or less code development. So we will see today some of the examples or some of the skills to go on with no code approach or development. And for that, first of all, we have Homentika Mitro with us live from Shiliguri in West Bengal. And she is obviously a Microsoft student partner, student of Shiliguri Institute of Technology, and one of my good friend. So, hey Hermentika, welcome to the day 3 of Ignite the Spark. Hermentika. Hermentika. Is she all right? Uh, One second, guys. There's what happened to her? Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
Hermentika. Please
Okay.
go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you, Shagnik, for such a good introduction. And before starting with my slides, I would like to give a brief about me. I'm from Siliguri and I generally work with Dialogflow and Python. I create voice assistants. And recently I have started working with Azure and Power App is my new domain. So let's just start. As Shagnik have already mentioned that today's approach is of no code or zero code. So today I'll be teaching you how you can create an app with zero code or almost no code and deploy it in few minutes. You must be wondering how. Yes, it is with Microsoft Power Apps that you can create an Canvas app or a blank app in just few minutes. So before starting with, let me just start or introduce myself and how I was introduced with Power Apps. You can see two screenshots which shows that I have created a coronavirus tracker which is indigenous to India and it shows the number of confirmed cases, recovered cases, active cases and death state-wise. So I was introduced to it by a session by Donna Sarkar, who is a principal advocate at Microsoft, and then she gave us a small homework where we had to go through a learning path and sent her the screenshot. And let me tell you that the learning path was of 2 hours. It was so interesting that it kept me awake the whole night. And the next morning, I thought of, just because it's so easy, I thought of creating an app myself. So I think you all will be introduced or interested in doing the same as well, because there are many ideas which we have regularly, but due to the lot of technologies which is behind creating an app, we are not able to brainstorm our ideas into reality. So let's just see what Power App is. And I can show you a small demo of the app that I created. So let me just quickly show you that. Hang on a minute because of the net connection. This app here, it shows in alphabetical wise the states along with the different data, and the first one starts with Andaman and Nicobar Island, and if you can search a particular state that you are concerned about, it will show you the data. So let's just quickly move into what Power App is actually. Basically, Power App is nothing but, in a simple layman's term, it is a collection of various apps, services, connectors where you can create your own app, let it be for your business or for your parents who have a business and they need to organize a lot of things. Let me give you a small example. Suppose you are a to be entrepreneur and you want to create a company where there are around 100 employees. So it is difficult for us to keep a manual of all those employees along with the salaries, the entry and exit time, or also an excel sheet which will be difficult to always log in through a computer and then access it. But with power apps it is all made easy. You can create an app in simple 5 to 10 minutes, and then you can access all the data that you want. Once I show you the demo of how you can create it, I am sure that you'll love it, and then you'll also brainstorm and create an app for yourself. So why is it so famous? Because here you do not need to write any lines of code, and you can all use the technologies that you already know to make an app for yourself. Yes, and this is why mainly Power Apps was developed. What are the main reasons why we are using Power Apps? Basically, you can already use the skills that we already have. For example, we already know how we can use Excel sheet or SharePoint, and how you can access data via OneDrive. And the only thing that we need to do is access the OneDrive, upload the data, and browse through the different options that are already present. So some of the main building blocks which are there in Power Apps. First, you'll go to the link that is make.powerapps.com, where you'll upload the data and create a customized app. And let me tell you, the app, once you upload the data, it will be already automatically created for you. Next, in the Power Apps Studio, the app, you can make it more responsive. You can add the tools to make it look better and more useful. Next, you'll definitely need some environments as well as data policies, which you all need to create an app. And those are very self-explanatory. Once while you browse to the options and enter the data, it will be very easy for you. And you do not need to be an expert in any technical domain to do it. There are various ways by which you can create a Power App. First is from a template, second is from a data source, and the third is from a blank canvas. Now, how do you create from a template? As we know, what does a template mean? It means that a ready-made source where we are just adding our data, and then it gets created on its own. So it is the simplest way. Even if we learn it, even if we spend around 2 to 3 hours of our 1 day or 2 day, and then we teach our parents, and I'm sure that even they'll be able to create it, or we can create it for our parents as well. Next, create an app from from a data source. We know that the main thing which is evolving in the technology world, or which is revolving the technology world, is data. Everything in and around technology revolves around data. So the main and the most important thing that you'll require to create a Power App is data source. And the last is built from a blank canvas. You may not like the template which is already present, so you use your imagination, and then you can create a app, or you can add whatever details and other things that you want in your own app. Next, I have jotted down the steps for you to understand. So since it's not possible to do a hands-on session right now, so I'll be providing you with my PPT. Here is the workbook which contains the data that I have created for you all. If you want, I can simply share the link in the description box or in the comment box in YouTube. And now I'll simply go to this link and show you how you can create a Canvas app in just few minutes. You need to bear with me for my terrible net connection. So here on the left pane, you can see that there are options like home, learn, apps. So we'll move on to apps, and here we'll go to new app. So we'll be creating a Canvas app right now. So I'll be using OneDrive for Business since I have my data there, and I will suggest all of you to do that because it's easy and you can do it in just few clicks. So let us quickly move to this. Okay, so this is the workbook that I have created, and let us just click on it. A point to note is when we are uploading the data, it is important for us to create a table of the data. Since I've already done that, so I'll click on it and wait for it to connect, and within few minutes a custom app will be created. Okay, so let me go to this play button and then we can see what is present here. Here I have jotted down the name of 5 employees along with their, let's see what's there in it. Employee name Alexander, entry time, exit time, employee ID and salary. So this I have just entered the data, and using Power Apps they have already created the app. So what you can do is, since I have logged in through my student partner account, you can download the Power Apps from Play Store, and once you're logged in from your organization's email address, like that is if I log in from my student partner account, I can see this app which is present. Now we'll see that there are various options like browse gallery. So let's just move in it. Browse gallery is there, detail screen is there, and edit screen is also there. So we can go through all of these options and then make the necessary changes that we are looking for. Suppose the layout that we have, I want to change it to title and subtitle. So now what you are seeing is a modified version which shows the name of the employee and their entry time. And from the details screen, if you want, you can upload a background image, that is totally upon you. And once you upload, just like the demo app that I had shown, that had uploaded a background image of the Indian map, there are also dynamic maps which you can create by Power Apps, and in the latest session maybe we can discuss about that. There are many features which are already present, so if you just click on it and browse, I'm sure that you can all see what is there in it and create a personalized app for yourself. Now let's move to the edit screen and to the edit form. So this shows the that is the sequence of the table that we have added. If I want to put salary as the first entity, we can. If I want to put ID as the second entity, we can. In this way, make or customize your app in your own way so that it is easily accessible for you. And once again, I'll play this, and I can see it's that the order is salary, ID, employee name, entry time, and exit time. If you want to learn more, you can learn more about through Power Automate and Power BI. I'll be sharing the resources later on. And next, that is the most important thing which you have to do is share it. So first I need to save it as, suppose, test 1. Once it is saved, I'll simply click on the share option and then share it. Since my organization here is Microsoft Student Partner, so I can share it with them, or the particular email address that I'm looking for, that is with my friends or with my colleagues who are there in the MSP group. So this is the like example of how you can create a Power App by yourself. And I think I am done for the day because I do not want to take up your dinner time. And to know more about it, Pratik will be joining us on Power BI. Pratik, over to you.
Pratik will be joining for this session, so the second part of the Power BI. And a small intro I should like to give about Pratik. And here it goes, like he's obviously a Microsoft student partner and involved in the field of data science and data analytics. Also, a small fact about him is that he's a head of marketing team of Wealthy West Private Limited. So he owns a company and he's the head of that marketing team also. So hey Pratik, welcome for your session and over to you.
Hi. By the way, Shagnik, is my PPT visible on the YouTube?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, guys. Pratik here. So, as thanks to Shagnik for giving me a gentle introduction. So, as Hemantika described, that the Microsoft Power Platform actually gives us a lot of tools for running a lot of functions. Without the Power Platform, actually gives us a lot of flexibility in this case. For example, if we try data analytics, we usually have to do with Python or something like that, and that usually takes a lot of experience and hands-on work with Python and R. But Power BI does give us a very easy and simplified solutions to it. Let's look at keep calm. Business analyst will handle it. Okay, data analyst, analyst. Let's try to dive into that field. Diving into data with Microsoft Power BI. Well, as mentioned earlier, the Power Platform has a lot of apps like this: Power BI, Power Automate, Power Apps. Power BI is a tool for data analytics. Okay, what is data analysis? Shagnik, by the way, is my PPT visible on the YouTube, right? I cannot exactly monitor it. Hello? Okay, thank you. So, data analyst, machine learning engineer, data scientist. What are the roles actually differentiating? Okay, engineer. That a data engineer pre-processes the data. For example, their image data, text data. So every time the data team cannot work with each data, the pre-processing has to be done by someone, and the data engineer usually looks with that. The machine learning engineer looks to the machine learning models, the building of the neural networks, or if it is a machine learning model, the creation of the models and such. And and data science looks over the overall process of the model creation. Now, what is actually the role of a data analyst? For example, each organization produces a huge amount of data: sales data, past sales, employee data, inventory, etc. To manage this data and try to arrive at meaningful conclusions, the data analyst comes in. And analytics actually revolves around modeling real world in mathematical modeling, predictive analytics, and such. You must understand that in the world of business, there are two axioms. Firms exist to maximize profits, and customers exist to maximize utility. And data analytics come there to for the firms so as to maximize their profits. What is business analytics? First of all, let's understand what is data analytics. Data analytics is about solving problems. A thing worthy understanding is that in a survey by Bloomberg Business, it was seen that the maximum companies with revenues exceeding $100 million were used to have some form of business analytics. Now, what could this be? For example, you are a banking company. You are trying to understand what your customers usually do and try to analyze their behaviors or past experiences. That would also be a form of business analytics. Now, why Power BI? Well, there is also Tableau, but the thing is that as we are Microsoft student partners, we get to work with Power BI more, and hence Power BI. Tableau is also a good platform, and I will definitely promote you, say you to try that out. But today, let's work with Power BI. Okay, what is BI software? Simply said, BI software helps us to work with the data. You cannot blindly look at the data and try to understand what is there. You need to analyze it using tools. Everything has to be analyzed into a form of charts, graphs, infographics, etc., so that we can understand what is hidden in the data and find hidden patterns or gain experiences from data. That is done using BI software. Okay, we deal with a vast amount of data while moving through such processes, but the thing is that in such business problems, we need to understand what data do we need to follow the data blindly or also look at our own instincts? What do the data says? Before defining the problem, we need to understand the data. Problems are not separable. Indeed, the problems are usually highly interconnected. Product lines might be obsolete. Customer connects are not ineffective. Product price might be uncompetitive. So in this type of real world business problems, we need to apply our own instincts and try to understand what data to apply and what procedures to follow. Okay, Power BI. Power BI does provide cloud-based SAS services, SAS in the sense software as a services, and it has powerful tools for working with data interpretation and working with data. So what are the Power BI services? The Power BI desktop, it is a desktop app like your PowerPoint or Excel. That is a desktop app. That is the Power BI service, which is the cloud-based Power BI service provided by Microsoft, and also there is the Power BI mobile, which gives you a limited functionality but a great deal of mobility when dealing with the Power BI platform. So, as Hemantika previously mentioned, Power Apps does has some building blocks. Similarly, Power BI also has a number of building blocks. They are visualizations, data sets, reports, dashboards, tiles. What are visualizations? Simple. You have done statistics in maths, right? Bar plot, histogram, pie chart. These are all types of visualizations. And even if someone is from ICSC, they have done that geography maps class 10. That is also a part of visualization. Every type of substance which gives us a visual interpretation of data, that is a visualization. That might be a pie chart, bar plot, etc., histogram. Anything can be a visualization. Data sets. That is where from the data comes. We cannot, for example, you cannot just write the data on a piece of paper and give it to Power BI. You need to have it in a CSV file, Excel file, something like that. That is the data set. Now, talking about data, there was a famous word by Dave Coplin. He was earlier in Microsoft, but he is no longer in Microsoft. But in 2016, he said that data is the fuel of our future. When you have lots of data, it changes things. In the modern world, you can understand that no oil company is among the largest. The largest companies today are relying Google, Microsoft, Amazon. These companies rely on large amount of data, and they've climbed their way to the top using data. Data is obviously the new fuel, and data set obviously is the smallest, say, unit of data. Data set is quite important. Reports. The data you work on Power BI has to be formatted into a collection of visualizations, and that is the report. Dashboards are interactive, say reports we can see, and tiles are the individual, say, visualizations in Power BI. So let's look at Power BI working. Okay.
Okay, I think Pratik is over,
Is
right?
my
Pratik, you
Power
are
BI
over?
screen visible? No. Power BI screen, is it
No.
over? Is it visible?
Oh, fab. Okay. Yeah, yeah, Pratik, you
Is
can
the Power
continue.
BI screen visible, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. When we go to the Power BI screen, we see a large amount of things. It is similar to the Power Apps platform. If we go to my workspaces, I can see a lot of my data, content, and all. So the data I worked on was a financial sample database. See this. So let's look at how the data looks. This is a sample report I had created using Power. I'll show you some of the pages. As you can see, I've created a lot of visualizations. Let me explain how they work. See, this is a simple, for example, the data we worked on had sales data from North America and some countries in Europe, specifically France. Then there is USA, Canada, and Mexico. And the data for all of this is visible in the. If we see at the right of the screen, for example, if the country, this one is, I add the country by dragging and dropping in the legend. Sorry. If I drop the countries in the location, the countries are again visible. Then this is a simple line plot. The line plots can be selected from the visualization selected here. Now, for doing the line plots, you see from the axis, if we put date here, I drag and drop the date here, it creates the axis and the values. If I uh, if I place the unit sold, it creates the visualization. Similar line plots, if you try to create in Python, you have to first load the data set, then create the date index of the data, and similarly create a line array for the unit sold, and then you have to plot it using Seaborn or say Matplotlib, and that you'll require say like 10, 7 to 8 lines of code, and here you can just do it by dragging and dropping. Similarly, if we do multiple, let me show you the data. Similarly here, date is in the axis column, and the values there are sales, profits, gross sales, and discount. If we place our cursor at any point in the graph, we can see that the for the that date, particular date here, it is 1st January 2014. The sales is given in light blue, profit in deep blue, gross sales in orange, and discounts in violet. So Power BI gives us interactive dashboards. The data we plot in our dashboards can be visualized on the Power BI platform, and later we can make reports from them. That was the line plot consisting of multiple data points, and you can see that each point is interactive, and we can uh, drive our cursor through a whole graph and try what we can. Now this is the similar donut plot. I hope you are familiar with donut plots. Here also, here I do not take the date into count, because here I calculate the total volume, means the volume of the discounts, gross sales, profit, and sales. The violet one is the sales. Gross sales is in deep blue again, profit is in orange, and this discounts is in light blue. I can, if I remove, for example, sales will be gone from there. But if I add sales to the data points again here, sales is added. Similarly, if I remove gross sales from here, gross sales is removed. But if I add again gross sales here, the gross sales get added. Now this is a area plot of the line chart. It is also similar. Just here the difference is that the thickness of the lines will be dependent on the quantities of that, or the volume. Similar, it is similar to the that line plot I had made previously, but the difference is that in here we can look at the volumes of the exactly sales made. And these are multiple line plots. These are created again by taking the data in the values column. The legend can be changed according to the legend. I have taken mainly date because line plots are more convenient while taking working with date or similar. Now look at some similar bar plots. For the bar plots, the axis I have taken the segment. For example, there are industries, government, mid-market, enterprise, channel partners, and small. So suppose I remove the segments from here. Segments are added into the axis, and I try to remove the unit cells and and here at the gross discounts on the sales. Sorry. So the discounts by segment are seen, and we can analyze that government sector has the most discount, then followed by small business, then enterprise, mid market, and finally the channel partners. So to create these plots in Python, we need to write code for each of the variables and then plot them using Seaborn Python or Plotly, whatever. But and we don't get interactive plots by C1, by the way. We need to use Plotly for that. And but in the case of Power BI, we get interactive plots just by moving the cursor over each of the column. I get the details of each of the column. Similarly, this is also an area plot for the similar sales profits and such for the government, small business, enterprise segment, and mid market. And similar for the line plots here. An interesting plot is the scatter plot. Let's look at the scatter plot. The scatter plot, I don't exactly give here any sort of what to say legend here. The x-axis is determined by the month. See, in the x-axis, let me put the month again. Months get created. Now let's take the sales for the y-axis. The scatter plots are made, but they are of the EM. Now there is a parameter called size. That is the size of the scatter. Just take profit and put it into the size. We can see that each of the plots get different in volume. For example, these ones are larger, these ones are smaller, and that is by defining the parameter size. We can see that there are also multiple visualizations in here: stacked bar chart, line funnel. Then this is the this is an interesting one. Key influencers. All this can be done by if you look at the documentation properly. So I'll close this part here and move to the final part of my presentation. Now, as we have worked with Power BI, a few thoughts. See, for example, if we need to work with data, we must understand that we have to build a lot of Power BI is just a simple tool of working with data. There are image data, then there is map data, video data, audio data, and we need to acquire a lot of skills. Python, for example, has a lot of the libraries needed for working with data: image data, map data, geographical data, whatever is there. Almost Python has everything to work with. The skills needed for data analytics, let's say, for example, we need knowledge of mathematics, statistics, economics, geography, business, and finance, because most of the data problems are related to these fields, and we need to have at least a basic or fundamental knowledge of these fields so that we can work with. Regarding the technical tools, we need Python, R, Excel, Power BI, Tableau, SQL, Apache. These will be the tools. Your knowledge should be in the fields of mathematics, statistics, these fields. But for the tools, we need to have a lot of tools at our disposal. Python would be a good. Power BI, Apache Spark. Apache Spark is mainly for big data. So the thing is that you need to be well versed with the tools so that you can work through the problem. And the final thing is that understanding of the problem. For example, mainly working with sales, you need to understand the key factors which influence the sales, lead to your benefits. Final thing, let's see. We are in the COVID-19 crisis, and you must understand that you must stay safe. So a final request to you would be to stay at home, or you get to dance with the coffin dancers. Stay safe, guys. Thank you.
Awesome, Pratik. Awesome. So, hey everyone, if you have any questions regarding this Power Apps or Power BI, do put that in the chats. Pratik and Haimantika are here to answer you. So, we are waiting for your questions to just write them in the chats. Okay, I'm supposing that you guys are writing questions or asking something. Yeah. I'm supposing that you guys are writing questions or asking something.
Achha, there seems to be a question. Why will we go for Power BI while there is Tableau? See, the thing is that with Power BI, you get a interactive environment of Microsoft. You can work with Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Power Apps, Microsoft Power Automate. There is a combined environment. For example, there is the Google environment, Gmail, everything is linked together. Similarly, in the Microsoft, if you work with Power BI, you get to interact with the whole Microsoft environment. There is Power BI, there is shared Power Apps, Power Automate, MS Excel. So, for example, you can create pipelines from your Power BI reports to the Power Apps. The data that will be the dashboards, for example, that can be made in Power BI will automatically flow into the Power Apps platform, and you can create full pipelines of the of your in Tableau. It is a basically a standalone platform. With Power BI, you get a whole environment to work with. I guess that answers your question. Learn overflow.
Yeah, I suppose that's the answer you dared him. So, are you guys writing
This is
questions, or we'll wait a minute or so to see if you guys are writing something or not? But if you have any questions, if you're new to Power BI, go ahead and ask your doubts. They are there to help you out. They're there to solve your doubts. And go ahead.
if you like today's session, then I hope that you'll be creating a Power App and then tag me and Pratik in our respective Twitter and LinkedIn profiles with the hash code less code more power.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead with building a new app with this Power Apps, or build your new software or new app or new something you have thought of, something maybe with the COVID-19 also. So go ahead and build it. Make sure you post it somewhere so that they can see it obviously. And it seems like no one is having any doubts or questions that way. So that brings us to the end of today's session. And obviously, don't go ahead. We have something to tell you more. Join us tomorrow. We have something covering you on cloud and Azure. Why cloud computing? Why should you focus on that? And that's how tomorrow's session will focus you. Not only cloud, we will show you how to build a chatbot on cloud itself. We'll cover you up building a chatbot, and that will be hands-on. If you are on laptop or desktop, be sure you make it like keep it handy. We'll keep you working with this hands-on session. And thank you. There's a link for that. Link for this certificate link is there on the chat itself. Don't forget to fill that up. And okay, someone saying the submit button is not working. No problem. You just refresh the page. I hope that would work fine, and that's not a big deal about that. Sure, and with that happy note, we are ending the session for today, and see you tomorrow exactly at 8 p.m. IST. Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining in.